Okay, I'm Sarah,
I'm Brian.
and welcome back to the Big Blue House Homestead. This is day 2 of putting up our fence because we got rained out yesterday, and we forgot one vital thing that we needed to build with, and that was
Concrete for the post for the gates.
yeah, we forgot to pick up concrete. So we went ahead and put in 4 posts to build gates to go in, and we have 2 sections to go into the garden. You've already done all the concrete, everything's set where it needs to be, so fence is almost done. I mean, absolutely almost done. Brian has like what, 30 feet?
Yeah, 30 feet.
Yeah, we got about 30 feet left and then we're finished with that. But while he worked on doing the majority of the fencing, I went ahead and planted squash, and we'll check on those and we'll show you what the fence is starting to look like. Does that sound all right?
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, so fence is put up. Brian has just this small little section left here to attach down to the building, to the stalls, and we are finished, and it should be fully enclosed at that point, except for the gates.
Yep, I'll finish those up this afternoon after I go pick up some windows for the greenhouse for this coming fall.
Yep, so we're also going to be building a greenhouse soon. We're excited. All right, you can see this is where we put the posts in. He'll probably come back and even them out and then build the little gate openings. And you can see they're cemented in. And I now have a protected garden. This is fun though. Look, we had a little issue with the cement bag. It busted. But that's all right. We've still been able to use it. But yeah, protected fence all the way down. And if I keep going, because I can't get in the garden yet anyway until I walk to the next gate, we'll keep going down. All right, and that brings you to the second opening. I had to move my potatoes further in so that we had more space. I do have a melon patch over there by the lion, but I don't think the deer are gonna eat them. They didn't bother them last year at all. But this is where I originally had a gate. It was actually further back. You can see where the lattice is back here. And that's why this is called the enclosed garden on this side, because it was fully enclosed and everything was protected. But when we had to start protecting our chickens from the neighbor's dogs eating them, I had to use all my fencing that we had for that. So it's no longer really enclosed as a section, it's enclosed as an entirety, and I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, while Brian was out doing the fence, the kids helped fill the potato bags with more hay, and we moved them all in here, and you can see my potatoes are doing excellent, nice and big. And then I came through and planted the squash. All this is for seed saving, so I'll get that done once they're fully ready. So I decided to put this little circle fence piece in. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to plant on it yet, but I've got some other types of beans that are vining, and I may just throw a bunch on there just for fun. Plus it'll give me a little bit of extra, and I may use it for cucumbers, and so I'm going to decide that after I get my cucumbers put in. But I got squash over here. They're waiting to go in the ground, and I'm going to get that done in a minute. But you can see this remesh back here. Now that rag was just where I was trying to keep the deer out with ammonia, and it really didn't help. But this remesh is actually going to be for cucumbers, and I have remesh all across the garden for that. And once I get cucumbers in the ground, then I'll decide what beans I want to put, unless I need that space. Now if it didn't get washed out, nope. See? Those are some big heavy deer prints. And this was after a heavy rain for like 7 hours. And they're still in the ground. So yeah, definitely this was number 1 to get done, was put up a fence. All right, and over here I planted some squash. They're looking a little shocked at the moment. They just need a couple days to pull through. We'll get that going. Promise they'll be big and lush. Planted some more over here as well. And these are both vining. I do believe this is my butternut. I'd have to look at my list again to make sure. But I believe that's my butternut. And down there is my blue Hubbard. And that way I can vine the two together in between. And while they're doing that in the middle, I'm going to plant okra to fill up the space. I threw in a bunch of squash over this way as well. I stagger them a little bit, so I do 2, 3, 2, 3 rows, and it gives them room to bush out together. And I just trim the leaves when they start to get too touchy-feely, just to make sure that they have room to continue and grow. This is my main squash row. This is where I've always planted my squash. I like this big lush overgrowth here in the front. And so this side is all zucchinis. And they run all the way down to right where the watering can is. And then I have just crookneck squash. And then I left this open space here. I'm probably going to fill that with some extra corn that we use for popcorn. It doesn't seem like a whole lot, but I can grow it pretty tight and it will give me as much as I had last year, which is what I needed. And then here is another type of yellow squash. It's called a Dixie. Little small, shorter one. So I got those in the ground. And I have to admit, walking up to a fence is kind of weird because I'm not used to this. So where I just want to walk through right now, I know I can't, but I'm excited because maybe it'll help keep these deer out. All right, I also planted a bunch of squash in between here, and I do believe this is my delicata. Let me just double check on that. All right, yeah, that is the delicata. It's one of my favorite squashes, so I like to put quite a bit in there. And again, they look a little close, but once they start to bush out, I'll trim them down and they'll do just fine. But it'll fill this entire area up, which is kind of fun because I already have beans sprouting. I have beans sprouting all over in all of these spots. So pretty soon these trellises will actually fill up with beans, and then I'll have big lush squash in between. Now these I'm undecided on. That's my spaghetti squash. I thought about putting it here, but then knowing that it's going to vine down, it's going to take over the beans and the peppers and the tomatoes, and it might give me too much of an issue. So I think I'm going to change them and put them over here. Okay, so this section right here, sorry, Brian's putting in the last of the fence, but this section right here is actually going to be for like my artichokes. And I already know that I don't have enough artichokes to put in there. And I was going to bring some squash down and put them onto the ends anyway. And then all the trellising behind is going to have gourds and stuff growing off those. But I'm thinking I might bring those spaghetti squash down and put those on both ends and let them vine between my actual artichokes. Because I'm not going to get the artichokes for at least 2 more years. So we'll see. But yeah, look at this. Big improvements in the garden. Trellising. I've got my cattle panels up. Still got more dirt to lay down, but we'll get that worked out. Probably starting today, working on more of it. But yeah, garden's going to be great. And check that out. I've got mulberries. It's not the best idea, but we had a mulberry tree right there. And we cut it down because it was interfering with our light source. And plus, it did not do anything, did not produce anything, did not grow anything. But you see all these shoots coming off? I'm going to try to pull those and root tone them and grow some extra mulberry trees. But when this started to grow up, it was very small. And I went, you know what? I don't wanted a new mulberry. Let's just keep it there. So now I'm going to have to move my clothesline and probably reposition it over further just so that I don't have stains on my clothes. But yeah, just excited because I think it was a weed when we moved here. It's growing pretty quick. And now I've got mulberries just growing everywhere. And I'm excited. Hopefully the birds don't get these too. The lettuce is still doing good. The cilantro's coming back, but it looks like it may start to go to seed soon. My garlic's starting to flop, and I think it's way too early for that. I pulled one the other day, and it was just a very small little bulb, so hopefully they'll continue to grow. Parsley looks like it's finally going to seed. It has taken me 2 years and 2 transplants to get to this, so yes, this year will be the year for my seed. All right, these beds stay a little shaded at this point right now just because of the way the sun is, but I've got radishes over here I'm going to thin out. I've got a bunch of spinach in the middle, more radishes, and then a bunch of kale. Not a whole lot of radishes. I think actually this might be all kale because I'm looking at my leaves. Yeah, these are all kale. So I did the 4 rows of kale. I'll come out and thin those out probably today. I've got these peas that I started. They were labeled as bush, but I've never seen a bush pea, so I decided to give them a try up here first. Bunch more radishes. And this is actually my chives, and I filled this section up, and I do have a little sprout. We'll see. Hopefully they pull through. Borage looks like it's getting eaten up by pests. I'm going to have to come out and spray again. But I took my covers off and see, the birds just keep coming through and pecking all of this and eating all my leaves. So I don't know if these radishes will make it. But I've got all these radishes planted as well. This section was carrots. And of course there's nothing here because the birds keep eating my carrots. And then these are black Spanish radishes. They're starting to form little bulbs. Oh, but check this out. These are just scarlet globe radishes. And that's a perfect little radish, isn't it? So pretty excited about that. I've got a radish. But there's a lot that are bulbing up. These will be able to pick soon. This bed has never done well for me. The kale's not coming through very nice. The Swiss chard isn't really growing. I do have a little bit of the lettuces. But then this side looks beautiful with all that lettuce. So at least I'll have a few more salads, I guess. I've got to get over here this week. This is mint. It's chocolate mint. And then somewhere in here you can see some regular mint. Yeah, the chocolate mint took over. So I need to come in and go ahead and start cutting this down and possibly moving it around. Look at that peony. All right, so I want to come over here and show you guys the peaches because the peaches are actually doing really good. But we haven't mowed in a while. You can see where we kind of started and then we got overwhelmed and then it rained a lot. But this is like a perfect little house on the prairie moment. I mean, these things are as tall as my knees and I'm walking through a field of wildflowers. It's so funny. But peach trees. Still don't know if I'm going to get more. This one has got nothing on it this year. So it's not producing well at all. And this one has lots of peaches. So yeah, I don't know what the type is. I have to go grab my cards and look. But I'm not thrilled with it. Not one of the favorites. Because it's just not doing well and it keeps dropping all its fruit. I don't even know if I'll get those peaches or not. But we'll see. But then I'm coming over here because I haven't been over here since the weather started to warm up. And it looks like my Concord grapes are coming back. And I've got 2 of those. And then I have one over here. And those might have been the Niagara grapes. I'll have to look at those again. But the muscadines are coming in strong. And then my scuppernong's always outshine. They're huge. And you can already see just clusters of berries showing up all over. Everywhere. But I need to get out and train these. So that will be here in the next week. Otherwise, this will just be a giant mess again. He couldn't figure out how to get in. He came running down and was like, wait, there's a fence. What do I do? It was really funny. Did you make it in, Brandon?
You got a fence everywhere now.
Yeah, it's different, huh? Yeah. It'll be cool, though, because now we can't have anything eat our garden. All right, guys. Not on the porch with Chi-Chi this time. I'm actually in my greenhouse. I decided to give myself one great shot because I have about a week. And all of these perfect, beautiful, lovely little guys will be in the ground and they will actually be growing in my garden. So I wanted to just finish up a little bit different than normal. We do have one little dilemma with the fence. We are going to put in a giant gate because we were thinking about the way we haul our soil. We use a riding mower with the trailer behind it. And it would be a lot easier just to be able to drive that in. And then plus we have logs we're going to be moving in the fall as soon as we get all of the plants pulled, and we're going to amend and get ready for the fall garden. We're going to pull the rest of the logs out of there, so we really needed like a big access point. So Brian's over there now setting new posts and getting that ready, and we're going to put in these big swinging gates. You saw them when I showed you where we were starting the fence from to go to the stalls. We're just going to take those big silver swinging gates down and move them over that way, and that way we can get in and out when needed. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I did a quick little update on some of the things I haven't really shown. It's just one of those things when you're trying to fit everything into one video and you're limited to time. You can't get it all in. So I just wanted to share a little bit here and there. But I'm gonna wrap this up now and head inside to start dinner for the kids, and then come back out and finish planting the rest of my squash, because I have, I think, 3 more plants to put in the ground, and that's it. So yay. All right, thank you guys for stopping by, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, because I'm new too and I could use the support. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.